Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, Dr. Haider Shah, and on behalf of Cardoso, I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Today, we have another very interesting topic, and I'm really honored to welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker who is going to talk about communication skills and interpersonal skills. The skill required to effectively communicate, interact, and work with individuals and groups. Interpersonal skills are often referred to as people skills, social skills, or social intelligence. So, how to learn it properly and what things need to be considered. Really, very interesting topic, and I'm sure you will learn a lot from this session and you will get the best insight, right guidance, and suggestions about all these things as we have an expert with us today in this session. So stay tuned because an amazing stuff are coming ahead in this session. So before we start, I would like to thank Calvas for arranging such enlightenment sessions for their support and providing us such a wonderful platform. The aim of Calvas is to give you the opportunity to connect and interact with world-renowned speakers, academic leaders, teachers, authors, researchers, experts, professionals, and businessmen to learn from their experiences, recommendations, and suggestions which will create an impact and will enable you to learn and develop yourself in order to grow and transform individually, as well as to contribute to the world in a positive way. As our slogan is come, learn, and share knowledge. So today we have an amazing person as guest who has a vast and wonderful experience of nearly 3 decades in academia, an internationally known and recognized personality. He is a great human being, a man known for his excellence and admired by the people around the globe, who is contributing on various platforms and always ready to share his knowledge. So let me introduce him formally. He holds a PhD in modern languages and literatures in the specialty of comparative literature from the Faculty of Letters of the University of Portugal. He was the Dean of the School of Education and Social Sciences of Polytechnic Institute of Portalegre, Portugal between 2010 and 2018 and Deputy Director of the Master in Media and Society. He was president of the Association of Reflection and Intervention in the Educational Policy of Higher Education Schools in Portugal, 2015 to 2018. Adjunct professor at the Department of Language and Communication Sciences at the School of Education and Social Sciences of the Polytechnic Institute of Portalegre, Portugal. He is a professor of higher education since 1995. He is a researcher at the Center of Comparative Studies at the University of Lisbon. He was the coordinator of the Communication Bureau of the Polytechnic Institute of Portalegre to 2013 to 2017. Moreover, his main area of teaching and research are sciences of language and communication, pedagogical innovation, literacies, education, higher education and social responsibility, and literature in cinema, under which published article and book chapters and made presentation in Portugal and several countries, including Brazil, Spain, France, United Kingdom, Italy, Greece, Luxembourg, Hungary, the Bulgaria, the Thailand, Turkey, Colombia, Ukraine, Philippines, Indonesia, United Arab Emirates, Australia, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, China, and India. In addition to that, in 2016, he published the book Literature Cinema, The Look of Genius, the Virgilio Ferreira, and The Space of Unspeakable by edition 70, Portugal. He is a member of several international organizations and associations, as well as a member of the editorial board of international journals in the area of language and communication science, comparatively literature and cinema, the literacies and education. Last but not the least, he's a wonderful speaker, author, teacher, researcher, professional, and above everything, a great human being. So please help me in welcoming our guest, Dr. Luís Miguel Cardoso. Welcome to the Calvas platform, and thank you very much for joining the Prof.
Thank you. Greetings from Portugal. Good afternoon from Portugal. Good evening to my dear friends who are with us, dear colleagues. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Haider Shah for his very kind invitation for being here. It's a great pleasure and a great honor. And of course, I will also like to thank the very kind presentation that was made by Dr. Haider Shah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And it's really pleasure that we have you, Professor. Uh, we will learn a lot from this session because the way you communicate and the way you speak to the world, and you are very convincing. So we are eagerly waiting for this. A soft reminder to the audience that Prof will be presenting, and we will leave time for question answer session at the end of the session. So over to you, Prof. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Haider Shah, again. So, dear colleagues, dear friends, I would like to share today some ideas regarding career planning with communication and interpersonal skills. So I chose this topic because nowadays, in this very complex and very demanding 21st century, interpersonal skills and communication skills are vital for career planning. So this presentation is, of course, a portrait regarding these challenges, these main ideas, and would like to share these advices so that our students, so that our community can look to this perspective of enhancing possibilities regarding the labor market. So, first of all, my dear friends, I would like to start by quoting George Bernard Shaw. The single biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has taken place. So, regarding this very interesting phrase by George Bernard Shaw, I would like to create here a first dichotomy, a dichotomy between communication and information. And as Professor Haider Shah well said, we will have questions and answers. Because if we do not have questions and answers, we will only have information. Information is, of course, vital nowadays. But more important than information is communication. And communication is a very interesting word. It comes from Latin. And communication from common, to share, to create. And all this is the basis of our society. So to create communication, to share information, we truly have to understand what is needed to have a framework regarding communication and not just information. For example, I'm sure you all use emojis. So let's try and discover if this is really happening with you, dear friends. When we choose one emoji, we choose an emoji, but we are also choosing an option that is being given by our smartphone. And we have a brand, of course. And each and every one of us has a brand. So when we select an emoji, we are beginning a communication. We are sending out information according to a symbol. But when we choose this emoji, because it is connected with our smartphone, because it is connected with our brand, it has some characteristics. But if the person that is receiving the emoji does not have the same brand, does not have the same smartphone, probably he will receive an emoji that is a little bit different. So my intentions regarding communication are now being not really fully understood by my colleague, by my friend. So this is a simple example. And of course, this happens with symbols. This happens with words, with sentences. This happens with images, with videos. This happens in our information galaxy. So this means that communication is all about perceptions. So my dear friends, I'm sure you know these examples that I'm sharing now. So on our left, what can we see? Do we see a cup, or do we see two persons that are talking? Because if I see a cup and you see two persons that are talking, we are not having communication. We are just having a problem with communication. On our right, what are we seeing right now? Are you seeing a tree, my dear colleagues and my dear friends? Is it a tree over there? Or are you seeing two persons? So if I see a tree and if you see two persons, then we are not having communication. So this means that we must have the same framework. We must have the same connection. We must have the same approach regarding words, regarding symbols, regarding the use of knowledge, of skills, of competencies. So this is why communication is a very complex phenomenon. Even if we try very hard to present a message that is clear and obvious, we have a lot of factors that can be creating problems, even when our examples are very clear. So, my dear friends and my dear colleagues, let us take a look at this picture. I like this picture a lot, and this represents communication. So the essence of good listening is empathy. We need empathy in communication because I might have an extraordinary discourse. I might have a rhetoric abundance in my words. I may have an outstanding message to be delivered. But if I don't create empathy, none of this will be achieved. So the essence of good listening is empathy, which can be achieved only by suspending our preoccupation with ourselves and entering into the experience of another person. Part intuition and part effort, it's the stuff of human connection. And my friends, human connection, this bond, this extraordinary bond between human beings is created through empathy. This is why the birds, the ideas, the words can fly from one person to another, creating bridges, creating and sharing knowledge, creating communication. This is why communication needs empathy. This is why we talk with our eyes, we talk with our smile, we talk a lot with our hands, for example. So all this creates empathy. And when empathy is here, our discourse will be delivered. So let's now try to understand how communication, interpersonal skills, communication skills, and career planning are all connected. My dear friends, on a scale from 1 to 5, managers rate importance of having good interpersonal skills at 4.37. This is an outstanding value regarding good interpersonal skills, my dear friends. And behind interpersonal skills, what do we have? We have communication skills. So if we think about our near future, if you think about the main goals regarding education and knowledge nowadays, this means that we are talking about 2030. And our goals, our frameworks, for example, the frameworks regarding education from UNESCO, from the UN, from the OECD, they are all connected with 2030. And by 2030, my dear colleagues and my dear friends, 2/3 of jobs will be critical thinking intensive. Imagine this, 2/3 of jobs. So this means that soft skills are so important nowadays, and they will be vital by 2013. This is a major improvement. This is a big change from the 20th century to the 21st century. And according to the World Economic Forum's Future of Jobs report, this is a report from 2018, while soft skills such as empathy, emotional intelligence, creativity, communication skills, etc., cannot be compared to a degree. They enable people, this is so important, they enable people to leverage their uniquely human capabilities. So, my dear friends, let us think about these numbers. 80% say soft skills are increasingly important to company success. So this is the voice of the employers. This is the voice of the corporations, of enterprises, public sector, private sector. 92% say soft skills matter as much or more than hard skills. This is a great change from the paradigm that we had in the last century. So when we address these challenges regarding 21st century, of course, we are also thinking that we have a new learner. In our universities, we are, of course, transforming our curriculum. We are transforming our degrees. We are transforming the assessment. We are transforming methodologies. We are, most of all, thinking that the most important thing that we can do to help our students is to create new methodologies, is to have a new pedagogical approach regarding the so-called 21st century learner. And my dear colleagues, who is this 21st century learner? So the 21st century learner connects a lot of areas, characteristics, and topics that create a new portrait of challenges for higher education institutions. So this means that we have an engaged thinker, we have an ethical citizen, we have a person who has entrepreneurial spirit. And these three areas are connected with skills, are connected with competencies. So the 21st century learner is all about skills, is all about literacies. So this is our main challenge regarding higher education, to discover literacies, to discover how literacies can help our students to enter the labor market well prepared, not just by becoming extraordinary professionals. Of course, we all want success for our students, but we also want our students to be excellent persons. We want our students to be excellent citizens. And this is a new holistic approach regarding the 21st century learner and the 21st century student. This is why careers must be understood by higher education institutions from the first day to the last day of students' degrees, because it is a path. And it's not just this path, it's a set of paths, it's a set of journeys, it's a set of adventures. And we are talking, of course, about lifelong learning. And lifelong learning is something that is also very important in this 21st century. But let us think about career planning, my friends. We are here connecting communication skills, interpersonal skills, and career planning. So, how, when, and why do our students think about career planning? They must think about career planning from the first day they become university students, from the first day to the last day. So this means that this is a journey and we must be mentors. We must act as mentors for our students. So let's think about challenges regarding career planning. Vision, ambition, work, integrity, plan, learning, skills. Again, skills. So, my friends, we as teachers, we as researchers, we as mentors in our universities must be able to talk with our students and try to discover what are their expectations regarding career options. What do they want? What do they wish? What do they desire? First, we must understand that education is not just about knowledge anymore. Education, it's about knowledge, it's about values, it's about principles, it's about ethical principles. It's about becoming, as I said before, an excellent citizen. So this means that career planning is also connected, for example, with social responsibility, corporate social responsibility, higher education, corporate social responsibility. Everything is connected. So when we talk with our students about their plans, about their careers, we talk about all this. We ask, what is your vision regarding your future? What is your ambition? Is it a job? Is it money? Is it success? What is more important regarding your work? Is it to become happy with yourself or to become happy with others? Integrity. This means, again, knowledge, but also values and principles. And all this becomes a set of ideas to create a plan. And we address all this as a plan with our students to go ahead and transform learning. So higher education now is understanding how our students' expectations are now changing the way we address curriculum, for example. So what can we do with our students to define this career plan? Let us take a look at these 4 stages to successful academic and career planning. So these are 4 keywords: know, explore, plan, go. I would love to address all this with extra time, but let's just give us some hints regarding all this. So, my dear friends, first, each student must ask a set of questions. Who am I? What are my interests? What do I want to do with my future? And what do I have to do to get there? So then option number 2, explore. Where do I want to go with my expectations? So let's explore the dynamics of career planning. 3, career planning. How do I get there? Set your course. And you must be on track regarding skills. Let us not forget communication skills and interpersonal skills and knowledge and values and principles. And then number 4, go. So you're ready for career planning. But of course, there is no magic formula. my dear friends, we do not have magic formulas regarding career planning. When we are talking about planning your career, first of all, we have to understand that each student has a set of characteristics that is different from other students. So we as teachers, as researchers, as mentors, first of all, we must respect what are the key characteristics of each and every student so that we can help them develop their career planning. And when we do this, then we can connect this passion theory with this self-awareness. This means ask the right questions, and the set of answers will enable our students to get to the first degree about career planning, that is to discover themselves, and then they can move on. Then craftsman mindset. So we must create the proper mindset and give our students the right tools so they can go ahead. And then we can think about the labor market that is very demanding indeed. So some career planning examples, my dear friends, and now talking directly to our students. Keep an up-to-date resume. Make career planning a regular event. This is something that we work every day with. Reflect on your career path since your last career planning session. Reflect on what you like, you dislike, you need, and want from work. Keep a record of your achievements. Identify your transferable skills. Set career goals. Explore new education or training opportunities. Remember, lifelong learning. Leverage and learn from others. No man is an island. We all learn from one another. Step out of your comfort zone. You have to risk. Nowadays, labor market is so demanding. So we must risk. We must invest. We must search for knowledge, for information, for more teacher training programs, for example, for future teachers to be able to have new skills, digital skills, informational skills, so that can be even more efficient with their students, for example. But this is another set of ideas. And research further career advancement opportunities. So all this, again, is about skills. Hard skills and soft skills, it's a great dichotomy. We could, of course, summarize what are the most important hard skills, but I would like to focus on soft skills. Because soft skills, a few years ago, were seen as a set of skills that were secondary regarding the most important ones, that were the hard skills. But nowadays, universities are paying a lot of attention to soft skills. And our curriculum is now incorporating soft skills as well. So this is why integrity, dependability, effective communication, open-mindedness, teamwork, creativity, problem solving, this is so important. Critical thinking, adaptability, organization, willingness to learn, and empathy are now in our degrees, in our universities. They are not secondary at all. Now they are very important. And why are they very important? Because university students need this set of skills to be prepared. So if we could choose at least 6 essential skills for university students, we would have First of all, communication. Soft skills as a group, has a set of skills. Time management, critical thinking, reading, and academic writing. So, my dear colleagues, with these 6 essential skills for university students, we have here the basis for a great student, for a successful student. But more important than that, we have the basis for an extraordinary citizen. And why? Because nowadays, top interpersonal skills include, as we said before, communication, conflict resolution, collaboration, leadership, and again, this magic word, empathy. Empathy. So, when we talk about top interpersonal skills, this means that we began our journey by thinking about defining communication, defining information, defining these sets, these new mindsets, defining the new frameworks for 21st century education, defining the objectives of a contemporary university nowadays, and defining what universities must do to give their students the most interesting and powerful tools so they can be successful. And this means to give them soft skills, not just knowledge, but also soft skills. And the importance of soft skills and the importance of interpersonal skills, of course, can be defined by a lot of authors. I would like just to highlight that the importance of interpersonal skills can be summarized as foster effective communication, keep the feedback loop open, expand your opportunities, make you relatable, demonstrate social awareness, increase client satisfaction, build trust, help foster and maintain personal relationships, make you an effective leader, encourage empathy. Because, my friends, dear colleagues, the main challenge today is that the labor market is changing. Many of today's graduate courses did not exist 10 years ago. We are talking about new media, e-business, nanotechnology, 3D design, supply chain management, recycling technology, geomatics, and so on. 10 years ago, we didn't have degrees about all this. And nowadays, the labor market is also changing. And we have been struggling with the COVID-19 pandemic. And this caused a set of challenges worldwide. And the labor market also felt the need to change the profile of the future employee. So we have to understand that education must change. And we have been changing our paradigms. And since the bridge from the last years of the 20th century to the 21st century, OECD has given us a set of frameworks of reports that are very important that can help us and guide us. For example, this report from 2018 defines that education needs to aim to do more than prepare young people for the world of work. This is important, of course, but it needs to equip students with the skills they need to become active, responsible, and engaged citizens. Students will need to apply their knowledge in unknown and involving circumstances. For this, they will need a broad range of skills, including cognitive and metacognitive skills, Again, my friends, critical thinking, creative thinking, learning to learn, self-regulation, empathy, self-efficacy, collaboration, using new information and communication technological devices. So this is all about changing our mindsets, my dear friends. And the World Economic Forum projects that during this year, at least 54% of all employees will need reskilling and upskilling to respond to changing work requirements. My dear friends, 54%. So this means that higher education institutions must be connected with their communities, must be connected with corporations, with enterprises, private sector, the public sector, to give these new skills to this huge working force that needs to be enhanced to the 21st century. So young people need the skills to rapidly learn, adapt, practice resilience, and take advantage of entrepreneurial mindsets to respond to this reality with the ingenuity to earn an income. But this is not just about income. It's not just about the labor market. It's, again, about the importance of skills. Let us ask ourselves one very important question. What's the most important skill you need to have at your job on a day-to-day basis? And the answer is very clear. 50% leads us to communication skills. So this is the answer we need. This is the answer we need for our students. This is the answer we need for higher education institutions to address degrees and to give curriculum a new approach. Because, as we said before, we have been struggling with COVID-19, but we have learned a lot from the COVID-19, and we have a lot of lessons from this pandemic. Of course, the environment has changed, and the environment calls for a great transformation regarding education and technology and the connection between education and technology. For example, this conference is an extraordinary example of the possibilities that nowadays technology offers us, because technology can overcome frontiers. Technology can overcome challenges like languages, can overcome frontiers like the impossibility of attending a conference, for example. So this is why StreamYard is now helping us a lot. This is why a lot of platforms can be used to create a hybrid model, because we had online education, of course, but COVID made us think, what if the future of education is no longer divided between the online and the in-person? What if the future of education is hybrid? What if the future of education is a mixture of online and in-person? So this is why everything is changing. Our universities are changing. We, teachers, are changing. And of course, students also have to change. And the key words that I would like to highlight are these. Young people must learn to learn. So we as teachers are no longer transmitting information. We are now acting as mentors. we are guiding our students. They must discover knowledge. They must discover information. So we must guide them. So all this is also important regarding the labor market, as we said, and regarding employers. And employers overwhelmingly agree that young employees need soft skills, such as communication, creative problem solving, and entrepreneurial thinking. So when we listen to what employers want regarding our students, when we listen to what employers want regarding future professionals, we must think if our degrees in our universities have the right set of skills that are demanded by these employers. Because when we compare the skills that were needed in 2015 and the skills that were needed in 2020, just 2 years ago, we have a lot of changes. And my dear friends, the number one top 10 skill still is complex problem solving. Because problem solving is a powerful tool. And it's a powerful tool that our students can use in dramatic contexts that change a lot in different countries, in different communities. But complex problem solving will be the number one tool for them to solve the majority of the problems they will be facing. Critical thinking by 2020 and still today, critical thinking is vital. But in 2015, critical thinking was just number 4. Just number 4, my friends. And for example, nowadays, emotional intelligence is so important. Cognitive flexibility is so important. And these skills only appeared in 2020. Number 6 and number 10, they did not even were considered important skills in 2015. So, my dear friends, what is now very, very important is to define our journey. And to help us define our journey, let us check what the World Economic Forum gives us as a portrait regarding skills. So we have a set of skills that is growing and a set of skills that is declining. So the skills that are growing include analytical thinking and innovation, active learning and learning strategies, creativity, originality, and initiative, technological design and programming, critical thinking and analysis, complex problem solving, leadership and social influence, emotional intelligence, reasoning, problem solving and ideation, and systems analysis and evaluation. So these are growing. But we have a list of skills, and these skills are declining, such as manual dexterity, endurance, precision, memory, verbal, auditory, and spatial abilities, management of financial material resources, technology installation and maintenance, reading, writing, math, and active listening, management of personnel, quality control and safety awareness, coordination and time management, visual, auditory, and speech abilities, technology use, monitoring, and control. So, my dear friends, in our universities, we have to think if our degrees match these challenges. We have to think if our communities think as we think, because if we can spot the difference, this means that we have to act. And universities must be flexible. Universities must be able to adapt, must be able to change. And if the labor market is changing, we also have to adapt. If the labor market wants more soft skills, we must incorporate more soft skills in our courses, in our degrees, in our universities. Because, remember, COVID-19 brought us another very important message. And the message was, there is a set of skills that was very important during the pandemic. And during the pandemic, we used perseverance, empathy, emotional intelligence, solidarity, my friends, critical thinking, self-regulation, adaptability, communication, compassion, creativity, digital, and resilience. So during this crisis, universities, corporations, public sector, private sector, communities, labor market created a new framework regarding skills. And our students were successful if they had these skills. When our students didn't have these skills, we had to give them these skills. So we had to create more strategies, more opportunities, more degrees, more workshops, more conferences, more programs to give our students these skills. Because there is a gap between the skills that were required before the COVID-19 and the skills that are required now. So skill number one, and I already highlighted this, skill number one is learn to learn. So to participate and thrive in a rapidly evolving world, youth must become power learners. Learning to learn helps young people rapidly gain skills and knowledge to adapt to changes and succeed. And this pandemic was all about adaptability, was all about resilience, was all about being able to create flexible and swift changes in our methodologies so that education could not stop. And when it comes to learning performance, 40% is due to metacognition. 40%, my friends. So this means that in our universities, we must think about what are the most important guidelines we have, not just regarding degrees, not just regarding the labor market, as we've been talking about, but regarding the creation of the set of skills that is very important for success. So skill number two is learn to discern, because we have a flood of information and youth must discern what is factual and reliable. Nowadays, we have information in a lot of platforms, and our students, our teens on screens because they are able to be connected at the same time with TV, with the laptop, with the smartphone, with their friends, attending online classes, playing video games, everything at the same time. So our teens on screens are a big challenge for us, teachers in universities. And young people, of course, want information, and they are very good with gadgets. But sometimes they do not have literacies. They do not have, for example, digital literacies. They do not have information literacies. So this is where universities are very important, because without literacies, there is no proper selection between information that is factual and reliable from information that is not. So our future is all about literacies, my friends. Literacies give our students a set of possibilities. This means we're talking about reading and writing, understanding information, having digital capacities, and having a set of tools that enable our students to dominate several different challenges in a very changing environment. All this, of course, is also connected with another approach that we had to face during this pandemic crisis. We deal all the time with systems thinking because almost all the challenges presented by the effects of COVID-19 relate to systems. And systems is all about a mindset of think, communicate, and learn about systems to make the full patterns clearer. So we think in a systematic way. We communicate in a systematic way. We approach challenges in a systematic way. And skill number 3, also very important during this pandemic crisis, is anticipation. And the anticipation skill has to be developed, has to be trained. To be acquired, we must have in our universities the ability to incorporate in our degrees, for example, curricular units, programs, workshops, conferences, MOOCs, etc., opportunities to develop anticipation, to develop this tool in our students so that they can anticipate problems, and then they match and connect anticipation with complex problem solving and with critical thinking. And then we have a right set of tools, of skills that will help our students solve the majority of our problems. And also during the COVID-19, strategic foresight was another very important skill that was highlighted by the World Economic Forum, because this pandemic crisis demanded a lot from us, from our governments, from our leaders, from our colleagues. So this is a very important opportunity, challenge, demanding opportunity to have strategic foresight, my friends. When we are analyzing the present and the future of our universities, we must have strategic foresight. We must try to understand what are the major challenges in this century, what are the major challenges regarding the labor market, what are the major challenges regarding skills, and what are the major challenges regarding citizenship. Because citizenship is nowadays not just citizenship, it's about digital citizenship. So digital skills are now connected with citizenship. This is why competencies for democratic culture that include values, attitudes, skills, knowledge, and critical understanding are now also valuable assets for universities to create very professional and demanding students. And a very demanding student is a student who asks questions. And we need our students to ask questions. Because when we ask questions, we are discovering. When we ask questions, we are trying to reach something that we cannot see, not just now, but we have to discover because we have a problem to solve. And when we have a problem to solve, then we must be creative. And again, we need the skills. We must be creative. So creative, problem solving, critical thinking, again, it's all connected. And the competencies regarding citizenship are not just about citizenship, are not just about digital citizenship, it's all about global citizenship. Because now we are participating in a conference and we are sharing ideas. We are sharing ideas, we are sharing thoughts. We are sharing thoughts with persons from different countries, different cultures, different perspectives. We have, of course, the same basis that connects us. We have the same intellectual challenges nowadays. This is why we are here today, because we want to share these ideas. This means that we have a global effort, my friends. And COVID-19 has brought us again another lesson. And I think humanity was forgetting this lesson. We have to be, first of all, human. We must practice solidarity, create teamwork. We cannot be working isolated from one another. This is why COVID-19 demanded a worldwide answer, demanded an answer that connected different countries, that connected different minds with the same goal. And education demands this connection as well. Citizenship, values, principles demand that we are connected. So, my friends, to create this connection, we also need the articulation between literacies, skills through digital. This is why we talk about digital literacy skills. So digital literacy skills are the ability and know-how of digital skills in conjunction with critical thinking across the varied digital platforms and devices. So my friends, another challenge that we have today is to understand what digital literacy is and how we are going to use digital literacy. Because digital literacy skills are complex, and of course our students do not have to master each and every digital literacy skill that I'm showing right now, but they have to know them. They have to understand their value. They have to understand why we need these skills, such as app development, data analysis, analytics interpretation, deck presentation creation, digital communication, digital content creation, digital copywriting, information evaluation, photovisual literacy, search engine optimization, social media content management, and software creation. All of this matters in this very demanding 21st century. So if we need to understand what are the most important digital skills, what are the most important digital opportunities to go ahead, then we have to understand what is digital research, first of all. So digital research can be defined as the use of digital technologies that change the way research is carried out and make it possible to face new challenges in the area. And this, my friends, is the very important issue nowadays in our universities. Do we have a digital strategy? Do we have a digital research strategy in our universities? Because we need this strategy. So this is all about digital research skills. Again, skills, again, interpersonal skills, again, skills like critical thinking, problem solving, analysis, dissemination. Again, these three skills that we talked before connected with dissemination. Because research, of course, it is important. Research is very important in our universities. But the most important thing about research is dissemination, is the way we transform information from our research to information that is going to help our community, that is going to help our country, that is going to help humanity. So if our research is not helping others, then we have to redefine what research is all about. And research is about our future. And if we want to create our future, we have to share. This is about dissemination. So skills, knowledge, career plan, career planning tools. This is our journey, my friends. It all begins with skills and knowledge. Then we move on to our career plan. And then we have to think about career planning tools. This is another challenge that we have to discuss with our students. So we all know a lot of platforms, of course. We all know a lot of software. We all know a lot of opportunities that the World Wide Web is giving us today. Opportunities like LinkedIn, for example. Why LinkedIn and why not any other platform? Because probably LinkedIn today is the most valuable opportunity for our students to create and to define a career plan from the first word, from the first sentence, from the first profile to their future. So when it comes to listing the right LinkedIn skills, the important thing is to understand which skills you have and which ones you need for your desired job. So again, dear colleagues, we must help our students in our universities to define their career plans. We must give them the opportunity to get to know career planning tools like LinkedIn, because we created this journey, we created this path. This journey begins with knowledge, with skills, with competencies, and now we, as teachers, as mentors, must keep helping our students, must keep guiding our students. So, of course, we have to discuss, we have to share ideas about LinkedIn with our students. And LinkedIn, of course, is a social network that we all know. And this is an example that we can work with our students. We can explain to our students why LinkedIn is important. And LinkedIn is important for anybody and everybody who is interested in taking their professional life more seriously. And of course, LinkedIn is a great opportunity for our students to start their first connection with career planning and digital skills and discovering the opportunities that the World Wide Web is giving them in order to go ahead and define their goals. So I will not, of course, share a lot of information regarding LinkedIn, but I think we all can agree that LinkedIn's main features can help us students a lot. When we talk about the creation of the profile, for example, the creation of a very good network, for example, when we explain the advantages of creating a solid LinkedIn profile for our students, we are helping them in developing a career plan. When we address the opportunities that LinkedIn has regarding jobs, job opportunities, the interests that our students have. When we talk with our students about the search bar of LinkedIn, and we explain to our students how to use the search bar, we are giving them a very powerful tool. So these main features, of course, are valuable. But I would like to end this journey, this presentation, with a thought. I highlighted the need to connect knowledge, values, principles, skills, competencies. But I would also like to highlight this key idea. The most important skills I had to learn to be successful were people skills. This is a phrase from Richard Branson. I think we all agree that people skills are vital for us all because we live in communities. Our school is a community. Our university is a community, is a family, is a set of bonds, a set of relations. And if we are truly connected, then we are connected with those interpersonal skills. We are connected by those soft skills that we analyzed during this journey. If we are truly connected, then we have empathy. Remember this magic word, empathy. And if we have empathy, my dear colleagues and my dear friends, we are on track with success. And success for our students, again, it's to have extraordinary professionals, is to have extraordinary persons, and to have extraordinary citizens. So, my dear colleagues, my dear friends, we have a lot of skills, we have a lot of challenges, but let us remind that our common future depends on solidarity, responsibility, and the definition of mankind regarding the needs of sharing, of tolerance, of respecting one another. And this is all about values and principles. Thank you, my dear friends. It was a great pleasure to be here today to discuss some ideas regarding interpersonal skills, skills that are hard skills, soft skills, demanding, this very demanding 21st century, and more important than that, to define what is truly relevant nowadays for our universities, that is to understand what our students need. So thanks again, Dr. Haider Shah, for this. Of course, dear colleagues, dear friends, if you have questions, I will be very pleased to answer them. Thank you.
Wow, Prof, thank you very much for such a wonderful presentation. What a powerful content you have explained in a what a wonderful way. And I love the way you started it from the quotation and then you came up with the wonderful image which is actually portraying what you were saying, that what is communication barrier. whether you see the cup or you see the two people, and are they able to communicate properly or not. And very nicely you have mentioned the word empathy at the presentation, and then you connected it all together to the last quote of your presentation. And I love the way you connect the career to it, that how it is related to communication and interpersonal skills. And of course, as a researcher, you had to come up with the references as well, which you have given a lot of references, right from the World Economic Forum to so many things. And I love the way you explain the 21st century skills, the growing skills, the declining skills, and what are the top skills. How can we become the digital citizenship? What is digital citizenship, and how to become a digital literacy, and so many things. And I was just thinking that how great professor you would be when you will be in class and you will be teaching for 3 hours, and that so many information and knowledge you will be sharing, because you have a vast experience of academia, which is almost 3 decades, which is wonderful. And that could be very visible in your the way you are explaining and connecting the different things. And I love the way you mentioned the word of empathy, how we are going to connect, and your message of the solidarity, that how the circle you completed, just like it started from the how you are going to communicate, and then how you are going to be the global citizen in order to have a greater impact on a larger way. They're really very interesting. And I was just thinking that 95% question you have already addressed in your wonderful presentation, because that's the beauty of the expert, that they explain everything in a simple way. So I really loved incredible presentation, I would say, Prof. And really I enjoyed this presentation. It was highly captivating, Prof. Thank you very much for such a wonderful presentation. Yes, Prof. If you allow me to ask from the very first question, please.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for your very, very kind words, Dr. Haider Shah. Thank you. And it is always a great pleasure to discuss what is the most important thing that we have in our life, that is to help our students. We as teachers, that is to give our students the opportunity to be happy. That is to give our students to create better lives for them, for their families, for their communities. So this is why we are all connected here today, to debate these ideas. So thanks again for inviting me. And it was with a great pleasure that I was here, of course. And yes, please go ahead with questions.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. And since, Prof, you have nearly 3 decades of experience in academia, so the question is mostly this question is asked by one of the teachers, and they want to ask that, Prof, do the students of social sciences are better at communication skills than the science students? Please share your experiences.
That is a very interesting question. Very interesting question. I would like to share the following. In my experience, I've been working with students that come from different types of degrees, from sociology, from arts and humanities, social sciences, journalism, tourism, and technological degrees, management, for example. And of course, the degrees are very different, but you can have the same approach regarding skills, and you'll be able to get a very interesting response. Because, for example, an engineer, an architect, a tourist guide, a teacher, a social worker, they all need soft skills. They all work in teams. No man is an island, and we all need to work in teams. So they have teams, for example, in a police station. We have teams in school. We have teams in a hotel. We have teams, for example, when we are building a bridge, when we are helping our community as social workers, when we are, for example, are helping our tourists by being a tourist guide. We all need the same skills. Of course, we can use the skills in different ways, and this is the difference. The difference is that in different degrees, in different demands in the labor market, in different professions, we use the skills differently, of course, because challenges are different. And what I think that we have to highlight is this. If we give our students the opportunity to connect with these skills, even if our students come from engineering, from management, for example, they will use these skills. Imagine this. Can we imagine, for example, a teacher that does not use or have empathy? No, we can't. Can we imagine, for example, a social worker who does not have empathy? No, we cannot imagine. Can we imagine an engineer without empathy? No, we cannot imagine, because we are professionals, but we are also human beings. So as human beings, first of all, we communicate, we share, we create. And when we create with empathy, we create a new atmosphere. More than a professional atmosphere, we create an atmosphere that is full of compassion, that is full of heart and soul. And being a very good professional is not just about knowledge. It's not just about having the knowledge from a degree. It's about using the qualities, the personal qualities. It's also about being able to connect with others. And this connection is made by soft skills, is made by social skills. So this is why all professions need these skills. Of course, in different degrees, in different professions, we can use different levels and different approaches regarding these skills. But I would say that these skills are important, are needed, and they will be useful at the same time for different professions, in different contexts, in different challenges. So I do not think that, for example, a student from arts and humanities can deal better or in an easy way with these skills from another student that comes from management or engineering. We must give them the chance. We must open the door for them. So the answer for our colleagues is this. If we give our students the opportunity, if we open the door for soft skills, for social skills, I'm sure all our students will get these skills and they will feel more empowered and they will be better professionals because of this.
Wow, Prof, superb answer to that. I loved your answer. Give opportunity the student, let them experience it and let them learn it, and they will excel in it. Very nicely said, Prof. And what a great analogy you have, what a great examples you have. That's the wonderful part. When you talk to the expert, they always connect the different dots in a different way so that to make it easy for the people. I'm really enjoying the way you are answering. It's so wonderful. Prof, we have another question which is comprised of two parts. The first part of the question is, Prof, please share your experiences. Is like, how do you measure communication skills and what you look for. That is the first part. And second part of the same question is, Prof, please guide us. How do you assess the oral competencies of language learner? Yes, please.
Thank you, Professor. Well, this is a very complex question. Well, we have two questions, not just one question. We have two questions. So let me try to summarize a key idea. I usually, I was going to create here a theoretical framework, but I will not do this. So I'll be as simple as I can. When I start my classes, I have new students. We all have new students at the beginning of the year. So what I usually do is a set of questions, and I ask each and every student to tell me about where they come from, what are their expectations in an oral conversation. It's not an exam, it's not a test, it's a dialogue. But in this dialogue, I'm doing a diagnosis. So it's not a formal opportunity, it's not an assessment, but I'm analyzing each and every student that I have. And in this dialogue, I ask them about where they come from, if they come from far away or not, if they are staying away from their families, if they are having new friends, if they like their new city, for example, and what are their difficulties, what are their expectations, what they would like their degree to offer them, what are their expectations regarding curricular unit, for example. So this allows me to create a portrait of each student just by talking with the student. I don't have an exam. I don't have a formal appointment with the student. This is during classes, but this is also outside classes. So this is a mixture of opportunities to engage with students. And when we share, when we open our minds, when we open our hearts, when we open our souls to our students, they will give us the same. And this is the answer. If I open my heart and I tell my students, for example, my dear students, I hope this will be a great year for you. I hope you will discover your new university, because our university has this and that. We have a very interesting library. We're going to do this activity. I'm going to work with you like this and like that. And I give examples and I give them challenges. And what do you think about, for example, creating something connected with a competition regarding films, for example. We could use films to have self-portraits. That is one exercise that I usually do with my students. I ask them to create a portrait in video, to record a portrait, a self-portrait, for example, in 2 minutes. They have 2 minutes to make a recording saying, hello, my name is Luís, my name is etc. I come from this city. I like this, I like sport, I like culture, I like film, I like reading, I like writing. I chose this university because I like this degree, because I want to be, I want to be a journalist, for example. Because journalism is so important nowadays in our society, because our society needs journalists. And for example, they record this self-portrait in video. And then in my class, we have, for example, 30 or 40 students. And then we show these 30 or 40 recordings. And all class watches these small videos. and learns a lot from one another and discovers, oh, that colleague that I didn't know very well, oh, he has the same expectations that I have. Oh, he's from the same city. I didn't know that. Oh, he's from a different country. I didn't know that. And they discover themselves. Second question, trying to summarize all this. Again, it's all about not just an assessment, but to create informal opportunities to discover the characteristics that our students have. So, a very interesting example that I would like to share. Why not beginning your classes, your first class, with a film, for example? Showing a film or showing a small video, for example, or for example, showing a portrait, showing a painting, showing a photograph, and then ask your students to describe what they felt. This is about emotional intelligence. What they felt when, for example, they saw that photograph, when they watched that film. What was the most important scene, for example? They were touched by a long shot, for example. They were touched by a phrase, for example, that actor or actress, for example, said something very, very important, very uncommon. The film director, for example, led us to discover, for example, the meaning of a word while he was showing us, for example, a landscape. What did our student feel about this? And we are going to ask them. So our students do not think that this is an exam. Our students do not think that this is an assessment. So they are not stressed. They are not worried. They feel comfortable. They feel at ease. And we can discover, first of all, their ideas. We can discover how they feel, if they are worried or not, if they are integrated in university or not. And we can assess, for example, if they master the language or not, if they have some problems, for example. This is an oral test, my friends. This is an oral assessment, but we are not saying to our students that it is. So they think we are just playing. They think we are just using films and photographs and, for example, newspapers and something that we are going to get in YouTube, for example, or something that we collect from social media that can be also used as an example. So for them, this is not an assessment, a formal assessment, but it is for us. For us, we can learn a lot because they are at ease, they open their hearts, and we can evaluate them without stressing them. And this is at the beginning of the year, during the first classes we have with them. So this is an opportunity to create an atmosphere of a relaxed conversation that is at the same time the first assessment that we are making about our students. So I will end this example for now.
Thank you very much, Prof. Once again, what a great answer you have given, the awesome answer. And I love the way you talked about that. How do you create the environment where they record the 2 minutes video and they talk about what a wonderful and brilliant idea you have given and you have shared with our audience. And secondly, once you talk about that, when you start the new classes, particularly the first class, come up with the image, painting, video, film, or anything, just to have informal conversation with them. And this way, you will not give stress to them that they are being evaluated, but you want to see and you want to assess informally to actually we want to gauge them just because to enhance to uplift their skills. And what a nice message you have given to, and you have shared with the our audience around the globe, that you can do it without giving any stress to the students, that they are being evaluated and they will come up with the free discussion and free I would say will, and they will explain what they think and they will be sharing. And I believe what a powerful message you have given, that have a relaxed environment, um, mix with them, talk to them, and so that you can know what they think and how can you help them in a wonderful, very nice message. Prof, since you are a wonderful speaker and you are full of positivity, I can see and I have seen you on different platform while giving the wonderful message to the world. We have one participant from Malaysia, and he needs your counseling and positivity message because he has talked about his problem. His name is Onoja, and he said that thanks, Prof, for the insightful lecture. The question is, what if your PhD supervisor is not guiding you, rather he tell you that how you can never make it in life? So it's a kind of demotivating. But what is your advice to this student, please?
Okay, so the question is, when our PhD supervisor is not helping us. So, my friend, this cannot be seen as a problem. It's an opportunity. Of course, we have a lot of theories and frameworks to explain how supervision must be made. I would like to tell you how I like to make supervision with my PhD students. I think, first of all, we must be mentors. We must guide our students. So we are there to help. We are there to create confidence in our PhD students and tell them, you have been extraordinary in your lives. You have been extraordinary because you have concluded your degree so far. So this is just another one. You are going to succeed. You will succeed, and I'm here to help you. This is what I like to say to my PhD students. And when we say this, we are also saying that we are available 24/7. This means that if they have an answer, well, they have my email, they have my cell phone, so they have everything. They have my social media contacts. So if they are in trouble, they can text me and they say, oh, I have here an issue. I don't know how to handle this. What shall I do? What can I do? First of all, we have to create a moment of relaxation. To create a PhD thesis can be very stressful. So as a PhD supervisor, we must help to create a very good atmosphere. So we must create confidence in our PhD students. We will say, you can do this, you have great qualities, you are professional, you have the knowledge, you have the personal skills to go ahead, and you will go ahead. This is how I like to work. But you, my friend, I think you have here something that is causing you a dilemma. Some supervisors are not as close to their PhD students as I was referring. So some PhD supervisors demand a lot from their PhD students because they give them the opportunity to investigate, to research for themselves. This is a responsibility. Sometimes the supervisors are not in contact all the time. So, for example, you spoke to your supervisor last month or 2 months ago, and you are worried. You should not be worried, my friend. This is the methodology that your supervisor uses. This means that he believes in you. So just keep doing your work. Just keep working. He will be there to help you. He will be there when you send him an email saying, dear professor, I've just finished my chapter, for example, and I'm sending you the chapter so that you can read it, you can analyze this chapter, and you can tell me if this is on track, this is according to the standards that we have in our PhD course, or if I need to change something. So if you do not have a constant contact with your PhD supervisor, do not think that it is a problem. This is a type of methodology. So some supervisors like to be in touch with their PhD students all the time. Some supervisors like to give more freedom and more time and more liberty so that the PhD students can feel at ease. So do not feel that is an attitude of not being connected with you. It is something that your supervisor is doing so that you can create your time and space for research. So try to connect with him, okay? Try to email him and say, dear professor, I've done this, I'm going to do this. For example, I wrote this chapter, I'm sending it to you. I'm thinking about using this methodology, what do you think? And of course, this is the portrait of different approaches that we have regarding PhD students. But if another thing happens that is not very positive, if you have some kind of trouble, then you have to talk with your PhD supervisor and tell him respectfully, Professor, I need your help. Please, I would like to set a meeting with you so that you can give me some clues, some advice regarding the future steps about my PhD thesis. And when it suits you, I'll be willing to have a conversation so that I can work on track regarding everything you want from me. So stay in touch with your supervisor. So if you don't have a close contact with your supervisor, try and get to him. Stay in touch with him, okay? The relation between a PhD student and his supervisor is vital. And believe me, my friend, every PhD supervisor wants the success, the personal, the professional, the whole success for their students. So I'm sure your PhD supervisor also wants your success. So, okay? And I'm sure everything will be fine.
Thank you very much once again, Prof, for your wonderful answer, and I love the way you explain it. That every PhD supervisor, they have different approaches and different methodologies, and why don't they connect with him and they regularly email that we have done this work and now I'm sending you for review and your comments so that I can incorporate it. And very nicely you have mentioned it's the communication. And sometimes, Prof, I believe that your supervisor, they try to create a challenging environment for you so that you can grow up and you can learn by your own. And definitely what you have said is I completely 100% agree with you that every PhD supervisor, they want their student to be a successful. professionally as well as in personal in life, and they always stand by you, they own you, and they are always there to guide you. Some supervisors are very busy, as you know, Prof. They have a lot of stuff to do and to carry out, but again they are always there to support us, to help us, but sometimes they try to create an environment where we can grow a lot. And Prof, you know much better than me that we grow in a environment where we have a less help from the people. So that's why that could be the one of the reason that the supervisor is giving him a challenging time. But no doubt, keep it up, as the Prof has already told you that come up with the research work and contact with your supervisor, and definitely your PhD supervisor is going to help you, and you must keep in touch with that. And I believe the Prof has already given you the assurance that he would be get back to you, and there will be no problem in future. So Prof, one last question which is very much personal, as well as the audience wants to know that please, Prof, share your secret, that how do you keep yourself motivated in this journey of which is long enough, and it's almost more than 3 decades. So still you are so energetic, so powerful, so positive, and you have a sheer determination towards this sheer commitment towards serving the community and helping the people. What is your source of motivation? Yes, please.
Very interesting question, and very challenging question, Professor Haider, very challenging question. So I can say this. First of all, I consider that I am blessed to be a teacher. I'm blessed. It's a blessing. So this is not just a job. This is a mission. To be a teacher, to be a researcher, to be with students, it's really a blessing. Every day it's a blessing, because every day we begin our classes and we learn a lot from our students. And when we have our classes, even if we have a lot of tasks to do, and you said it, Professor, PhD supervisors, for example, have a lot of work to do. Yes, indeed they have. University professors have a lot of work to do. Indeed they have. But we have the possibility of having a smile, or having a friendly word from our student, or having an inspirational student that perhaps gave us an interesting comment during our classes, that perhaps said, thank you, Professor, for your idea. Last week it was very interesting, and I used this idea in my life, for example, in this situation, in my work, for example. And teachers are change makers. We are change makers. And teachers, as I said, are persons who have a mission. It's not just about having a schedule. It's not just about having tasks. It's about having an opportunity to create changes, and to create with each new generation of students. The new generation, it's the opportunity to create future. What else? What else could be better than to help to create our common future? What else could be better to create a better future for our community, for our country? What else could it be? To create new friends, to have new friends, because each and every student will be a new friend also. And sometimes he or she, they will be colleagues, and this will be wonderful. So the most important thing about being a teacher is to be happy with the success of our students. If they are happy in their personal lives, if they are happy in their universities, if they are happy with their families, if they are happy as citizens, then our heart is full, then our soul is full, then our tasks are done. But this is a mission that never ends. It begins one day after the other. And our energy comes from this feeling that it's all in our hearts. It's all about the connection of minds, hearts, and souls. And this is what matters to a teacher.
Wow, Prof. Once again, you have given a wonderful answer to it. And I love the way you started it from it's a blessing, it's a mission. And we can see it very well, which is very much visible that when we see your face, which is smiling face, and you are doing it with the wholehearted, and you have mentioned that you are doing it with the wholeheartedly, with the whole involvement of soul and mind, and which is very much visible what you say. And I love the way you have mentioned it in a way that it is kind of fulfillment, that once you try to help the people, and you mention a very wonderful word, that we are the change maker, and we are building the generation, and later on they become our colleague, and we are more proud, and we feel more blessed, and we feel more happy once our student they become successful in their life, because that is our achievement, and this is what we want to push them towards a successful life. That's what you have been doing for the past so many decades, and it's a wonderful job. You are the academic leaders, we are following you, and you are doing a fantastic job. Congratulations on that. Our best wishes are with you, and we have learned a lot from you in today's this session, Prof. Please keep it up, and we want to have you on different platform. We want to listen you more and more, because the way you speak, the way you share your knowledge is so awesome, Prof. Prof, since we have taken a lot of your time, Prof, I loved overall presentation, and at the end of the presentation, we ask each our guest that what is your message to the world as a speaker, author, teacher, researcher, trainer, learner, and educator? Yes, Prof. So, what is your message?
Well, Professor, my message is that we must all be united. We must all be united by education, as I said, because education is the basis for our society. Education, since the beginning of times, has led us to create civilization, has led us to respect one another, to have tolerance, to ignore the differences, and to create the bridges, because we all belong to the same planet that is our common house. We all belong to this extraordinary opportunity that is to be alive and to create opportunities to help others to have better lives. This is what matters, to help one another. And education is about sharing. It's about not just having information, it's about sharing information. It's about development. It's about emotions. It's about values. It's about principles. It's about creating a better mankind. It's about creating the next generations. Being a teacher, it's not just being a professional. It's not just being a role model. It's also about being inspirational. It's about trying to find out the best in our students and help them develop their skills, their competencies, their characteristics. This is our aim. So education must be our common priority for all countries, for all communities worldwide. Education must be our common ground for our future. This is my message with all my heart and my soul to all the colleagues, all my dear friends that were here today. And I hope we can meet again. So again, I would like to thank Dr. Haider Shah for this extraordinary opportunity to be here and to be with you, dear colleagues and dear friends. I hope we can meet very soon. Thank you.
Wow, Prof. Once again, you have given a wonderful message to the world in terms of education. Education should be our priority. And through this education, we can take the world to the next level. And wow, what a nice analogy you have given, that it's not the only profession, it's the profession of building the people, the generation, and it's a very huge responsibility. And your one word matters a lot, your appreciation matters a lot, and your what you have referred is a wonderful, that you should be inspiration for them, and they look upon you and they learn from the same way. Prof, we look upon you, and as I mentioned earlier, you are the academic leaders, and I believe that people like you who are doing a wonderful job, who are contributing to the world and field, are really doing a fantastic job. And we are learning from you people. And please keep it up. And I would request to our audience that please follow the distinguished guest speaker through his research work, and you can email him for future learning and guidance. He is very generous and always ready to help the people. Moreover, the powerful explanation and wonderful content which the great speaker has already elaborated will help you to learn and develop your understanding regarding the communication and interpersonal skills. So that's all we have time for today. Thank you once again, Professor Dr. Luís Cardoso. And I would also like to thank our audience who joined us. If you have any additional questions about information shared today, please email to us or connect to the speaker directly through his email or social media account. Thank you all for your support and liking our sessions. Stay tuned as many sessions are on the way. Please do not miss any session. Until next session, take care of yourself.